You're listening to Adventures in Project Management with John Goad.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? So, am I being confident or cocky wearing a t-shirt on a project management podcast? I guess it doesn't really matter unless you watch the video, so podcast, it doesn't matter, but I'll leave that up to you to decide. I do wear t-shirts, occasionally ball caps, all kinds of things. But today, I'm going to talk to you about confidence. So, welcome to Adventures in Project Management, episode number 4. Confidence in leadership and project management. So, people follow leaders who are confident. I mean, it's a fact. Think about it. Would you follow somebody that lacked confidence or didn't exude confidence? I don't know, make it kind of hard, wouldn't it? You know, confidence is needed to move forward, to advance the ball, to accomplish the tasks, to get things done. I mean, it's just a fact. And it's easy to spot a leader who lacks confidence, I think. So, you know what, you know, possibly what they look like. You know, I think back through several that I've known that have struggled in that area. And one of them is, one of the attributes would be holding information to themselves. You know, it's kind of like a gatekeeper. They feel more empowered when they hold that information to themselves versus disseminating it to the team, or maybe they, you know, peel it out in little chunks occasionally, but they don't reveal the whole picture. That's a good indicator that that leader doesn't have confidence. Another, I guess, attribute to non-confident leaders would be if they take a long time to make decisions. Now, I'm an analytic. I analyze things, but there is a, I've heard the term, I'm sure you have, it's paralysis by analysis, to where you analyze for so long that you lose momentum, you lose interest, you lose consensus. You know, all kinds of that. Those kind of fun things happen when you delay, and so there's a time to analyze, and after that, you kind of have this little sweet spot where it's time to make a decision, or else you're going too far. Or maybe this leader delays important meetings, you know, or hard conversations, phone calls. That's what's funny with email. And it's been around forever, I know, but where people some leaders and others tend to kind of hide behind email rather than picking up the phone and having a quick conversation to get through something, to work through an issue. It's easier to send an email and then respond on your own time. And so not everybody, I'm not talking about every time we send an email, we're being bad leaders. I'm not saying that. But if there's a pattern of an individual that is just delaying important meetings or conversations, or taking way too long to make decisions, you know, they probably lack some confidence. It's a fact. And lastly, another indicator of a leader that lacks confidence is one that has a hard time inspiring anyone. I mean, you know, if they lack charisma or any interest in having a team inspired to move forward or to get over the hurdles or work through the hard stuff. You've all seen them before. And so how does a leader gain confidence? I mean, there's plenty of information out there on the net and other resources that talk about how confidence is a perception of your abilities, you know, how you perceive yourself and your abilities and your skills. And I believe there's something to that, for sure. But the entire confidence can't be based in your perception of yourself. I mean, that seems kind of bloated, if you ask me. So I got to thinking, okay, what kinds of confidence have I seen or practiced in the workplace? And so I just have 3 observations, okay? And 3 levels or 3 types of confidence that I wanted to talk to you today about. So the first kind of level or type of confidence, self-confidence that I would term would be what I call kind of a can-do confidence. You can do it. It's a can-do confidence. Okay. Teddy Roosevelt, who's a well-quoted, one of our former presidents, he said, whenever you are asked if you can do a job, tell them, certainly I can, and then get busy and find out how to do it. To me, that kind of embodies the can-do mentality. I mean, you know, deep down in your core that you can figure it out. You know, you're willing to jump in there and grab the levers or do whatever you need to do to try to figure it out. And that's commendable. I mean, and that helps get a lot of things done in the world today, both personally and professionally. I've seen it work. So reminds me of a time I was on a project where we had to blast some rock for an excavation. And I don't know about all of you, if you've seen or interfaced with, or maybe you are a blasting company, they're kind of cut from a different cloth. I mean, think about it. They're dealing with some interesting materials for their job. So we call them powder monkeys. And so they showed up on the job, and we're drilling holes to put the charges in. And you know, we were standing at the tailgate of the lead guy's truck. And I mean, man, he had this old jacket on with holes in it. And, you know, I mean, it's like, wow, yeah, you know, that must be tough business. But nicest guy you'd ever meet. And he's standing there literally kind of loading some of these sticks of dynamite in front of me. And it was surreal because I thought, is there something that I need to be doing that I should be aware of here? And he was the nicest guy. He was telling me about using ANFO on his lawn because it was free from work. And ANFO is just fertilizer and diesel mixed together, basically, and something I wouldn't put on my lawn. But technically, I guess it made his grass grow and everything was good. And he was just calm as a cucumber while he's putting all these pre-loading some of these sticks. And then, you know, certainly nothing would go live until it was in the hole, and you pack it with ANFO, and then you run det cord all over the place. And, you know, it all ties back to a little battery operated detonator. And so when it was time, when everything was kind of tied together, and I was standing off to the side with a few other guys from our crew, and yeah, I was really excited to see this shot because it seemed like it was relatively complex. And you know, the senior level guy handed the detonator with the battery out of it to a younger guy, probably about, you know, my age at the time. I might have been in my early 30s or so. And the guy said to me, he said, "Come on, come with me." And so we walked at the end of this little canal that was probably, I don't know, it seemed like it was 50 feet from the shot, but it wasn't. It was 500 feet probably away. And this is a true story. I said, so, you know, a little nervous because I'd never seen this done before, but it was exciting too. And so just small talking with the guy quickly before he put the battery in and then, you know, was going to hit the button. I just casually said, "So how long have you been doing this?" And this is a true story. The guy says, "Oh, this is my first time." And I thought, wow. And then boom, and it went, and it was great. You know, what can you mess up when you're just the trigger guy? But he was so confident that everything was going to be fine because his boss had empowered him to do that. And even though it was his first time, he felt confident that he was going to do it well, didn't waver, didn't quiver at all. And I think that was a great example of a can-do confidence right there. And it's important in the project realm for sure. A second type or level of confidence that I wanted to talk to you about today is false confidence. So false confidence is, you know, there are multiple definitions, but for what I'm talking about, it's fake. It's not genuine confidence. And whether it's your ego or emotion or something bolstering you up to appear on the outward to others that you have confidence, that very well could be the case. And that, frankly, is kind of a dangerous place to be, particularly if you're leading teams or projects, or if you have responsibility where others could get in trouble based upon your leadership, and you really lack the confidence to go out ahead and to make it happen. Or maybe you don't know, you're ignorant to some things, you don't understand, but yet you forge ahead as if you did know. That's a dangerous place to be. When I had a soils engineering class in college, and as you know, our professor was a great guy. Everybody liked him. And since he knew he was teaching a bunch of construction managers, and it was doubtful that many of us were going to go on to the wide world of geotechnical engineering, he tried to give us tools to help us in the field, in the future. And again, so one of the stories he said was, hey, if you ever are called to look at an excavation and you really don't know what you're looking at, it's very simple. Here's what you do. He says, you come rolling up in your company truck with a plume of dust behind you, just a little fast, and you stop, and then you briskly walk over to the excavation. And when you get to the edge of the excavation, and you don't talk to anybody, you just walk up there. You look down in the hole and you say, and then you get back in your truck and you drive to the office. So, well, it was kind of funny. I mean, I can't imagine faking confidence like that, faking that I had knowledge, just to make other people feel uncomfortable around me. But it's a funny story, but unfortunately I've seen it play out with leaders or people in leadership positions. It's much better to be candid and honest with your people or with your boss or with your client. If you're getting into a situation where you're a little bit over your head, or you've miscalculated, or you just don't know, it's better to navigate through those things with someone else rather than just faking it. Here's another kind of funny story. This is, gosh, got a lot of college stories lately, but there's a whole lot of life after college. But I had a surveying class when I was in construction management program at university, and our final exam was a practical exam. Now, that just meant that we went to a park, a central park on campus there, and with our theodolites, and we had to close out a bunch of angles. We had to estimate or shoot the elevation of some trees and buildings, and it was all pretty basic stuff. And we had one kid in the class that had been talking smack all week. I think he was a framer, part-time framer kind of guy, and he was like, man, I'm going to kick everybody's buns in this. I am, you guys don't know how good I am. And heaven help me, I wasn't his lab partner, which was a good thing. But, everybody kind of thought he was a dude, but thought, well, maybe, I don't know. So I think we had like 2 hours for the final out in the field. And I mean, this was a cakewalk. This is what I did for a living. And I don't think this kid knew that. But man, I should have put money on it. But so I show up there, and it took me a half an hour. I think we had 2 hour time limit, and so I was first one done. Got an A, whatever. But because I didn't have scrapers racing by me at 50 miles an hour driving over my stakes, and I didn't have a sheep's foot compactor going next to me and messing up my the level on my theodolite. So it was really easy. I mean, we were in a park, man. We had birds and a couple of cars driving by. So, I mean, it was really easy for me. But this guy obviously overestimated his abilities. Based upon what he did was a quick assessment of the class, that he was somehow the surveying stud just based upon what he saw from the other kids in the class. And it was really founded on nothing but his perception of himself. Refer back to what I talked to earlier, was that our perception of our abilities in ourselves, there has to be more than that for the basis for our confidence. And that leads me to the third type or level of confidence that I wanted to talk about to you. And that is confidence based upon experience, skills, or preparation. And my friends, that is the best confidence. So if we have a positive perception of our skills and abilities coupled with preparation, we're going to go far. I kid you not. I've seen it play out. I've experienced it. And so, yeah, I mean, so I talked about a project a couple episodes ago that I had where I was the fourth surveyor, the fourth layout guy on the job. And it's funny because I frequently come in as the cleanup or correction or fireman or whatever on projects. Even to this day for independent project management and owner's rep services, I a lot of times fulfill that kind of second or third there to try to fix it. And it's just kind of what I do. But so I was kind of accustomed even then when I was doing layout, I was kind of accustomed to that because there are a lot of people who talked pretty confidently about their shot and how they could lay things out, but they just didn't follow through. And I was fortunately just a guy that didn't talk a lot, but I followed through a lot. So with that, I remember picking up my tripod and theodolite and my rod and walking down. The superintendent said, "Great, John, first day, go at the very south end of our job site, and there is a crew waiting for you down there, and they need some grade shot. They're trying to excavate some rock and stuff down there. And so would you go down and give them shots?" This is first thing in the morning, first day on this new job. I said, "Sure." So I walked down. It was about a half a mile the other side of the job site. No kidding. It was a canal we were building. And so I get down there, and here's a track hoe operator and a couple laborers, and they're just waiting for me. And I kid you not, as I walked up, I sensed or heard maybe a collective groan. Seriously. I mean, these dudes were not happy to see me. I'm thinking, man, I'm here to give you your shots so you can get to work and see how deep to dig or wide to go or whatever. And so I grabbed the operator and I said, "Okay, what do you need for grade here? What do you need for paint? And, I'll get you lined out." And he said, "Well, you're our fourth guy." And I said, "Yeah, I've been told that." He's like, I don't have any confidence in you." I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but that's too bad, but, I'm your guy." And he said, "Well, we're going to see what you're made out of first." This is a true story. And so I thought, all right, I'm accustomed to, you show up on a new job site and there's a little bit of a pecking order, and sometimes you have to prove yourself or whatnot. So nothing that I hadn't experienced before. So I set up my instrument, took a back sight, and he proceeded to just work me through the paces on some existing layout that was already there. And, the short story is after a little arguing and a little proving to him that I knew what I was doing, we worked it out. And honestly, he kind of came kicking and screaming there at first, but then after a little bit, he decided, okay, I guess I can trust you. So, and he found out I was capable. So was I arrogant? No. Was I prideful? Yeah, sure, a little bit. You bet. But mostly I was confident in my skill and in my experience that I had, which helped me avoid, being swayed or shaken by those who said I couldn't do it. And if you're not sensing it right now, this is a huge metaphor for working in the project realm. If you're skilled and you have experience, and most importantly, if you've done your preparation for something to lead a team, if you've prepared, you don't even need to have all the skills or all the experience. But I think the preparation is probably the most important component, the most important aspect of the confidence at this level. If you've prepared and you're willing to be honest with your team, okay, and moving forward, that you're not just the know-it-all, but you are the leader, you're the project manager, you're the leader. If you're honest with yourself and with your team as to your limitations, you've done the best prep that you can, you should move forward confidently, okay? And I see it happen time and time again, as I've mentioned before, where people either, they may have some skill. I mean, it's easy. It's really easy when you've built up a lot of skills and experience, years and years of experience. It's easy to start cutting back on the preparation. It is. I was talking to somebody the other day about doing their job and in the industry, and how they're just kind of on, autopilot now, because they've done something for so long that they're not preparing as much as they used to. Now, granted, after a while, there are certain activities and certain things that you're going to do where you're just capable because you have done it so many times. There's something to that for sure. And there's value there. Absolutely. But also, that's not an excuse to not prepare, for sure, because that's when you'll get caught off guard. So I submit to you that having skills and experience are crucial to having confidence as a leader. But if you fail to prepare or don't prepare or limit your preparation, you're only going to increase the chance of failure or having a problem with that leadership or losing confidence of your team. Okay. And so make certain that you don't discount that. So there, I just needed to get on a little soapbox about preparation there for sure. So in summary, be confident. Absolutely be confident. And I speak a lot in this podcast to those who are just starting out in their management or team lead type of career, that you can still have confidence as well, even though you may not know everything. You may not know, my gosh, I've been doing this for years and I certainly don't know everything. I know what I've learned and I know what I know, but I'll also tell you what I don't know. And I think people have respected me for that over the years, that I can say I am good up to this limit. And then beyond that, that exceeds my area of expertise or my knowledge. I can either go learn it, or I can find somebody that can help me, help kind of backstop me there, or perform some of that if it's outside of my wheelhouse. But I'm certainly not going to, BS my way through it. That's a recipe for disaster. So be confident. If you've been placed in a project management role because you've come up through the ranks at your company, and whether you've had training or not, or you've got all the experience or not, or even if you have limited guidance from your boss or the client or whomever you're working for, be encouraged. You're there for a reason. But that person that has brought you to that level, that has promoted you to manage that team, has seen something in you, has seen qualities in you that are worthy of that management. So, I talked before about, throwing a warm body at a problem. Well, yeah, that happens for sure. But I would imagine that mostly, for the most part, if you've been promoted to a situation where you're now managing a team or a project, there's a very good reason for that, because you have attributes and skills, and you do have a mindset, maybe for learning and for being honest and having character. And those, my friends, are going to play out very well as you gain more skills and gain more experience. Okay. And don't discount the preparation for sure. Okay. So, and for you old dogs that have been around a long time, like me, don't cut the preparation. Man, I am tempted to do that all the time. If I have to set up one more project budget, I might go nuts, but that's what I do. Okay. That's what I do on a lot of projects. And sometimes it really seems tedious. It seems old to me to have the same discussions with my clients on why we have to carry some contingency, on why the bank finance fees are, included as part of the project cost. Can't that just come from overhead or operations? Having a lot of the same conversations over and over and over again gets pretty tedious for me sometimes. But I'll tell you what, if I don't prepare for that, specific to each client, if I don't prepare, even though it's the same answer, I still have to prepare for the what if scenarios, so that I can convey One, that I know what I'm talking about based upon my experience, but also so that I can be prepared if something takes a left turn, that I can understand how to react and best serve that client. And preparation is the best way for me to do that. So while it ebbs and flows, sometimes I am always prompted to make sure that I can be prepared to lead. So, hey, that's all I've got for you today. I'm so excited about this podcast, and I thank you for joining me today. And you know what? I hope that you've heard something here today that's going to help you, or that you can pass on to others to help them, because my desire is to just share these experiences, good and the bad and the ugly, to help you in your management or team lead role, both professionally, personally. I wish you well. And until next time, this is John with Adventures in Project Management. Thank you.